Thanks for joining us here on Arc Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. It is Tuesday, July 29th. Tonight I'll be taking you to Spanish Fork, specifically SR6, to show you why multiple agencies have ramped up patrols trying to curb the number of crashes in Spanish Fork Canyon. Before we get there, though, let's get to meteorologist Sean Kelly here, joining us with our first alert forecast. I think it's hot and dry and smoky, and back to you.
Yeah, and more fire danger today and through the next several days. Those watches and those warnings, that is, have been extended to include through much of the day tomorrow, and that continues on through Thursday as well. But boy, is it hot out there, 98 degrees after reaching a high of 99 so far. So it is hot out there. You can see it's sunny as well right now after starting off your day a little bit on the cloudy side. Here's a look at those warnings that are in place and remain in effect through the day tomorrow and into Thursday through 10 p.m. You can see statewide we're really dealing with those fire concerns, but they're really high down towards the south and west. No rain out there other than a few isolated showers further up towards the north and east. We were tracking this earlier here, moving east and away from Price and into the Duchesne area. A few isolated showers south and east of Vernal, and that is about it. This will clear out here through about the 8-9 o'clock hour, and we've got a nice evening up in Deer Valley, Park City area for the Maren Morris concert here this evening. Those temperatures will go from the 70s, cooling off into the 60s as you are heading home, and through the remainder of the evening, cooling off into the lower 70s. Coming up, my first alert weather forecast, potentially even hotter conditions tomorrow, but a slight cool down as we head into the weekend. We'll talk about that in the next few minutes.
So the speed limit 65 in the canyon, came down that hill at 74. That's why I stopped you.
I know at one time the Highway 6 was in one of the top 10 most deadliest highways in America.
Enforcing speed on one of the deadliest stretches of road in Utah, Highway 6, specifically Spanish Fork Canyon, from the mouth of the canyon in Spanish Fork towards the Price area. Well known as a deadly stretch of road when you look at the sheer amount of crashes, many resulting in fatalities. Ultimately, the responsibility on our roads, including in this narrow stretch on SR6, falls on anyone who's behind the wheel.
High speeds in this canyon are dangerous.
It seems to be one of the most dangerous stretches of canyon highway that we have in the entire state.
Historical data shows this narrow stretch of road can be unforgiving.
There's a lot of curves, there's a lot of opportunities to have passing lanes. If you're impatient, slow down, back off, keep your distance.
While the same can be said for drivers anywhere, a 29-mile stretch with no median barriers. Head-on collisions are more common.
We see about 2,400 trauma patients a year, and about 300 to 500 of those are severely injured, have near lethal injuries.
Dr. D. Millar and his staff at Utah Valley Hospital in Provo frequently treat SR6 crash victims.
I'm seeing patients with significant brain injuries, complex chest trauma, abdominal trauma, patients that are coming in hemorrhagic shock because they're bleeding in some body compartment.
And I believe right now in the state of Utah, more fatalities happen on Highway 6 in Spanish Fork Canyon than any other highway in Utah.
Distracted driving, driving under the influence, passing illegally in dangerous areas. When you hear a crash on Highway 6, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
Speed.
He actually got faster.
Riding along with Utah Highway Patrol in Spanish Fork Canyon, speed was the top priority.
We actually had a fatality here last winter.
In partnership with Utah Valley Hospital, recently the Sheriff's Office and UHP conducted targeted enforcement on SR6.
As we looked at that data, looked at a couple of areas, what we found was that Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays had the highest number of crashes during the week, and then between about 11 and 3 to 4 p.m. had also the highest value in those days.
According to the Utah Department of Public Safety, from 2020 to July 22nd of this year, nearly 800 crashes on SR6 between mileposts 178 and 220. 21 fatalities in that time frame, with 9 fatalities in 2023 alone. The top factor in the crashes, speed at more than 30%. And the top driving contributing factor, failing to keep a proper lane at nearly 23%.
We're seeing speeds in this little project we've been working on, speeds up to 95 miles an hour, sounds like maybe even higher.
On a Thursday afternoon in the canyon,
74, we're pulling a trailer coming down the hill.
in a 30-minute span, numerous drivers pushing the speed limit at areas near an intersection with the potential for cross traffic.
So the speed limit dropped to 60 a couple miles back.
Or spots where multiple lanes funnel into a single lane.
We've had big issues in the canyon. We're actually doing some work here focusing on speed, especially this intersection. Like I say, speed limit drops to 60. Only gives you a small time as people turn left in front of you.
Sergeant Thompson has been with UHP for nearly 2 decades.
I have responded to numerous crashes that resulted in either fatalities or serious injuries in this canyon. And each one you look at and say, well, that was preventable.
It is a dangerous stretch of road where you really need to drive through there like you're part of the team and you're trying to protect everyone else, including yourself.
Sergeant Mark Thompson with Utah Highway Patrol told me you can drive Spanish Fork Canyon just fine all day long if you're being a conscious driver, now focused on obeying the speed limit, paying attention to your surroundings, and avoiding distractions. So it only takes a split second for things to dramatically change. A seemingly small distraction could have deadly consequences.
A little distraction could be a crossover very easily. We also have people that get impatient. There are a lot of commercial vehicles, large vehicles that are a little bit slower. We've got some narrow roadways, some tight turns. Winter time brings a whole new component with roadway conditions.
Sergeant Thompson says the canyon area of Highway 6 is far less forgiving than other canyons Utahns may be familiar with. There are no median barriers for roughly 29 miles of the canyon, meaning in that area there's quite literally nothing stopping a car from driving into oncoming traffic at highway speeds, sometimes faster. A stretch of road so deadly, Provo trauma surgeons are very familiar. I asked Dr. D. Millar how often and how serious the cases that come their way from Highway 6. When you say serious life-threatening injuries from that roadway, what's coming into your hospital?
These would be patients with significant brain injuries that require being on life support, complex chest trauma, multiple rib fractures, bleeding into the chest, bleeding from solid organs like your spleen or your liver, complex pelvis fractures where their pelvis is broken and bleeding. And so these patients generally stay in the hospital with us for up to 2 to 3 weeks if they survive their injuries.
Life support, sometimes hospitalized for weeks at a time. You just heard it there. Dr. Millar says the patients come from all kinds of vehicles and the injured are often from out of state without families and resources in the area. He says his trauma team looks forward to taking care of the community, but overall wishes for safety outside of the hospital. Here is Highway 6 for those that don't use it on a regular basis. Right over in this spot is where we're talking about. According to the Utah Department of Public Safety data from the beginning of 2020 to July 22nd, 2025, again, nearly 800 crashes have occurred in this 42-mile stretch that spanned over towards the southwest area of Utah County. So what can be done in this area? UDOT has worked on many safety upgrades. Some completed projects include a $5 million project that installed a signalized high T intersection where one road meets another at a right angle to include traffic signals to manage traffic flow and potentially improve safety. The Soldier Summit Barrier Project, a near $1 million median barrier to prevent crossover crashes. Some working projects include Diamond Fork to Thistle Junction median barriers, a $9 million project that started construction this summer. Chicken Hollow to Tie Fork will also get a barrier in that spot. The $53.4 million project will widen 5 lanes, improve intersections, and lay pavement preservation. That project is in the design phase. And the median barrier project will add the barrier and widen pavement between milepost 206 and 207. That is also in the design phase. Over $45 million planned for even more safety upgrades across Highway 6, all in the design phase. You can see that video again and read more about those spots that UDOT has already implemented change and is planning to do so. You can find that on my report, KUTV.com. Even when the flames are out, the economic impacts return. What Coconino County leaders are saying to business owners impacted by the White Sage Fire. The economic fallout from wildfires growing. Businesses in the gateway communities of both Kanab and Fredonia say they're feeling the heat and they're worried it will last long after the flames are out. Liv Kelleher attended a community meeting for business owners who are hoping help is on the way.
Well, I first believe that people should look to themselves for solving their problems. I mean, sometimes people, communities, businesses get in situations where a helping hand is helpful, but I really feel like we shouldn't always be leaning just to the government to solve our problems.
Sherry Finnecum's family has ranched in the Kaibab Forest for generations. She says they're still recovering from the Magnum fire 5 years ago.
We had to sell 50% of our cattle, having to basically give away really good mother cows and calves that were born that were healthy for very rock bottom prices was a real financial setback.
This summer, the fire hasn't hit her land directly, but smoke and pasture quality are already taking a toll.
They're not in the best pasture, and it kind of messes up with my rotation where I have to steward the land to use my pastures carefully. And so it will have an impact. I won't probably see it immediately this year, but it will bump down the years.
The Finnecums also run a roadside rock and art stand near the Utah-Arizona border.
I've noticed that my sales on my rock, of my little lemonade stand at the border, have dropped by about 75%.
With the Grand Canyon's North Rim closed through at least the end of the year, business owners fear the true hit will come this fall during their peak season. SBA loans have terms up to 30 years with interest rates no higher than 4%, but many say loans aren't enough to prevent this from happening again. What I heard repeatedly in that town meeting from business owners is that they do not approve of the forest management policy here in the Kaibab Forest. What they're looking for, in addition to federal loans and business relief, is policy reform that will help prevent future wildfires. In Fredonia, Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
Liv, thank you. The White Sage fire impacting land near the Grand Canyon. 83% contained. So far, the flames have burned nearly 60,000 acres. There's still 125 first responders on the front lines due to this fire and another one nearby burning. That would be the Dragon Bravo fire. Crews have shut down the north rim of the Grand Canyon for the rest of the summer. I mean, the Dragon Bravo fire, a whole different beast right now. When you look at it, containment has been decreasing, acreage has been going up, and the closures are very much so impactful, Sean Kelly. And the Dragon Bravo fire has contributed to a lot of our poor air quality, specifically in the southern part of the state towards Lake Powell, for example. Right, absolutely, and will continue to be an issue here in the days ahead as long as the winds keep blowing in. Pretty nice here. Southwest. Yeah, we've been spared here across the Wasatch Front. That's been pretty nice. Can we knock on something, by the way? Like, it's been mostly southern and central. Right, and it could change. I expect that to stay that way as long as the winds are more at the southwest, and it's going to blow it up towards the north and east. But yeah, you could see the visibility here is looking fantastic. The clear skies, in fact, the clouds that we even had across the Wasatch Mountains and along the Wasatch back, that continues to clear out as well. But boy, was it hot. 99 degrees was the high temperature today. Still didn't reach 100 degrees. We've only had 3 days of triple-digit heat here across the Wasatch Front. So that's a win in my book. Still plenty hot, though, right now into the mid and upper 90s across the area. 96 in Provo, 95 in Ogden. And statewide, we're at 102 in St. George, 95 in Page, 91 in Blanding. As I mentioned, with that wildfire smoke, that'll continue to be an issue and something that'll be in the forecast here for the days ahead, especially as we get into Wednesday morning. Tomorrow, dealing with some thick concentrations across the central and eastern part of the state that will linger, especially into the evening. Look at that thick plume of smoke just towering and moving in across the northeastern part of the state down through Moab. So we've got some hazy skies, reduced air quality for much of the region tomorrow evening, likely continuing on into the day on Thursday as well. A live look at Canyonland showing a little bit of that smoke, that poor air quality in the region. You bet that will be something you're going to have to contend with if you are going to be heading out to many of our national parks tomorrow, especially further down towards the south central part of the state. You can see the winds still becoming an issue and maintaining this issue here down towards the south and west from Cedar City, northward into Milford, the Delta area. Vernal seeing some of those strong gusty winds. You'll see pretty similar conditions for much of the state tomorrow afternoon and evening. Out of the southwest,
northwest, drawing in that strong winds over 30 miles per hour in many spots, and that'll continue on through Thursday as well. And so that's why we do have those fire warnings up for the next several days, including pushing up further towards the north here. So look at those isolated showers and thunderstorms producing more winds than rain, unfortunately, moving in up just north of I-70, south of the Vernal area. This should clear out within the next hour to 2 hours once we lose some daytime heating. We're waking up to dry conditions tomorrow, but a bit cloudy across the northern areas here in the northwestern part of the state. Pretty similar to what we dealt with yesterday, likely seeing mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies through about 1 p.m. tomorrow, then clearing out into the afternoon, evening, and then we're dealing with mainly dry conditions across the state here with an isolated shower or two with a better chance of rain further east you head. The intense heat still impacting much of the Tennessee, Mississippi Valley, the Northeast, dealing with some record-breaking heat with temperatures well above 100 degrees. So that's where the brutal heat is now. Meanwhile, we've got some slight relief here in the days ahead. We've got lower 70s for highs. Tomorrow will be pretty identical to what we saw today, with a high into the upper 90s for much of the area. St. George, you're at 104. You'll also peak with this intense heat for tomorrow, with a slight cool down here in the days ahead with some breezy conditions along the Wasatch Front. We'll go from 99 to 96 on Thursday. Look at the weekend looking perfect there. Lows back down below normal, lower 90s with plenty of sunshine.
Want to bring you some breaking news here on Arkansas Lake at 7 o'clock. A road closed there in South Jordan. This is Redwood Road at 104 South. Fatal crash in the area. We don't know much more than that. We have a crew heading to this spot. The road that is closed is between 98th South and 104th. It's that intersecting section from Redwood Road that goes by a bunch of businesses. You can see here in this live look from a UDOT camera that actually South Jordan Police actually have this roadway closed off completely in both directions. Again, we do have a 2 News crews headed that way, but it is a fatal crash, so we're working to learn more information on. But there are traffic impacts in the area, especially for those of you taking the through streets. But again, that closure spans from about 98th to 104th on that section of Redwood Road in South Jordan due to a fatal crash. Coming up on Arkansas Lake, Archie getting ready to celebrate his very first birthday. How your attendance could support the Humane Society. All right, let's see if we get some wins this year. The Utah Jazz just released their preseason schedule. They'll be on the court October 8th in Houston to take on the Rockets. And the Jazz will head to San Antonio on October 10th to take on the Spurs.
Yeah, the final 2 preseason games are at home against Dallas and the Portland Trail Blazers. The regular season will start after that last game.
It would be nice if Damian Lillard wasn't injured, if he was going to be in the lineup maybe for the Blazers and rep Weber State here in Utah. It's always cool when he comes back to town. Utah Mammoths team dog Archie getting ready to celebrate his first birthday. A party is in the works. We put Archie on TV a number of times. Cute pup. You can help celebrate with Archie on August 9th at Smith's Ballpark. Good to see they're using the park. The party runs from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. There will be yard games. Sean, that's your specialty.
There you go.
No pushing over the kids.
Some cornhole.
You take it easy. Street hockey, food trucks, face painting, and more.
Yeah, the Humane Society will also host an adoption center at the party. Those attending are encouraged to bring donation items and pet supplies for the Humane Society.
I have to go out there and check that out myself. It looks like a good time, and Archie has developed into a fine young pup.
Good pup.
Good pup. We like a good pup here at KUTV.
Sure do.
We'll see you tomorrow night at 7. Take care. Be safe.